What is up, party people? What is up? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Is this the best time for you to purchase another property for the rest of your life? Is it? Is that realtor speak? Is that realtor broker speak? Or could this be the best opportunity for you to purchase real estate for your home or for investment purposes for the rest of your life? We will discuss that on this show. We'll get into it. This is DFW Real Estate Weekly. I am Todd Tremonti. We have got the full crew with us. The English wonder, the Yanni Donnie, fully tanned, glistening, still fresh off his trip across the pond, Ian Daniels.
Happy 4th of July, everybody. On July 6th, I wish you a happy
proud
4th.
To be an American, where at least I know I'm free. Sorry, Ian, we just needed that moment between the two of us.
It's all good. I'm both. I'm an English citizen and a U.S. citizen, so I can celebrate fireworks all I want.
Ian's like a roaming goalie. You know, he's one thing and another thing, right? Maybe he likes taxation without representation. Maybe he doesn't like it. Maybe he throws the tea into the harbor. Maybe he sent the tea over and wanted his taxes.
Maybe I drink it one cup at a time.
Either way, happy 4th, people. Happy 4th of July. Happy Independence Day, said differently. It wasn't that long ago where I heard the words out of someone's mouth, I'm not going to say who, America's the worst. And I replied,
it was me.
I replied, that's the dumbest thing you've said in a while.
Hey, I'm thankful for Independence Day because if it wasn't for Will Smith and Bill Paxton, we would just be a nation with aliens.
When he punched
the speech.
So good.
Gosh, the speech.
I feel angry about all the additives in our food.
I do too. We were so on the same page with that. But the words you said, and I wasn't going to throw you under the bus.
No, I'm here.
The words you said were,
I will own it.
Again, terrible words. But the words were,
I hate America.
America's the worst. But what we were talking about is when you eat or have a drink in other countries and don't feel like garbage.
Right.
And here you have bread and gain 12 pounds immediately, or a glass of wine and your head hurts or whatever. So
look, we all know I've been suffering with some allergy stuff. I spent 3 days in Greece. Everything cleared up. We were fantastic.
And
3
now
days
he's
back in the US.
swollen
My eyes are swollen.
gummy
my arms
bear.
are red, and
can we, I don't want to spend the show on this because once again, this is a real estate show, but can we at least say it's not America's fault? Like it might be
we should check in on Ian's allergies.
It might be the food you're eating. It might be the blankets you're using, the clothes, whatever. And those things are in America. But the institution, this phenomenal republic that has blessed the world,
it might be breaking down.
It's done some things wrong. Listen,
it's election season.
We may be limping at the moment, but has blessed the world for hundreds of years.
Okay.
It's not entirely America's fault about your diet concerns or your allergies.
I do appreciate, though, in Europe, how more strict they are on what is allowed to be consumed.
As do I.
Like,
listen,
you can't consume things that also get made into fire extinguishers, for
It's
example.
jarring.
I grow organic food in my
Yeah, you
backyard.
can.
I'm on the team of like, let's not eat terrible stuff. But I'm also aware, like, man, I don't know for sure on a lot of things. So I'm just not willing to say America's the worst.
I don't either,
I love
but
America.
if you say it with conviction and sound like you know,
Yeah.
you know.
That's my lane.
And that is
Do well.
America. That is America.
That's America,
well with
baby.
Once again, proud to be American. Thank you, Lee Greenwood. Okay, this is DFW Real Estate Weekly. I am Todd Tremonti. Once again, the Yanni Donnie and Full Price Courtney, Triple C, Classy Courtney, some have said, producer extraordinaire of all things audio, video, and digital. Check out the YouTubes. Check out the internets. Check out the socials, and don't you dare forget the podcast. Where can they find the podcast, Courtney?
Apple, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you want to listen to a podcast, we are there. Distributed
And you should be
across.
there. You should be there too.
No cap.
No cap, baby.
Midweek bonus episodes. If
Got
you
that
miss
Sigma.
a radio show, you can catch that there. You can catch segments, Q&As, bonus material. It's all good stuff.
We want to be the expert in your life.
DFW Real Estate Weekly.
You know who else is an expert? Patrick Gleros and his entire team over at Cardinal Financial. We actually got to talk to Patrick recently on just kind of some questions that I had on kind of where we at, what are we doing. Always informative, always knows what he wants to make sure that we are aware of so that we can best advise our clients. Go to patrickglaros.com. You can start an application on his website, GLAROS, patrickglaros.com. Give him a call, 972-728-3420, NMLS number 308804, or just head on over to toddmoneyteam.com. You can click the radio tab, you can find all our recommended pros and vendors, and you can get a home valuation, and you can search all the homes in DFW, and you can also get a summer fun guide by clicking the banner at the very top, and you can do so much more. toddmoneyteam.com.
Nailed it. I mean, that was just beautifully done. Listen, folks, the website is a website. People have websites. People like to go to them. Some people don't go to them. But we truly are building out and honestly wrestling all the time about what should we put and should we not put on the website, because it's intended to be a really valuable resource for you, our friends, family, and neighbors in the DFW area. So go to touchmoneyteam.com. If you would like to know what your house is worth, it's intended to really help you with that very, very quickly. If you want to search around, see what things are selling for around, you do that. But that being said, once you've gone to the website and you've gotten a quick fix of information, you've seen some reviews, you've gotten some information, reach out to us. We are glad to talk to you, to take some time. Our full-time professional experts on our team are thrilled when we get to speak with our friends and neighbors, help you get some information, obviously help you buy or sell, but even if you're not buying or selling right now, help you figure out your plan, help you get some answers to your questions, sleep a little bit better knowing that you've got your stuff dialed in when it comes to your home or your homes or your investments or your mortgages or your insurance or your roof or plumbing or electrical or sprinkler system or pond or pickleball court, whatever.
Aggie baseball.
We would love for you to be able to love your home and feel like you got a team of people backing you up to love it forever and ever. Go to touchmoneyteam.com or save this phone number in your cell phone. Call or text 214-310-0008. Moving right past the random Aggie baseball comment.
I don't know if you know this, but you like homes on land a lot. Big backyards.
I did.
Like that. I don't even know that, but you do.
I do.
So we talk about it rather frequently here on the show, which is a good thing for people that like big backyards, homes on land.
It's important to note we talk about it not just because I like it, but many of our friends and clients like them as well.
So we talk about homes on land, but the question that we get asked is, but it's like, this is Dallas, right? So in reality, how much is actually available when you're talking about homes on land, big backyards? Because just a bunch of neighborhoods, right?
Yeah, it's a fair question. And for some reason, what came to mind, Courtney, I want you on the mic because you might have commentary here. What came to my mind when Ian said in his beautiful English accent.
Is it stronger now that I've come back a little bit?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
It'll take you like a month to be back,
okay.
Which is fine. It's fun for us. But he said, "This is Dallas." The way I did not mimic that well. But all I could picture when you said that is I live not terribly far from South Fork Ranch where the show Dallas was filmed. And almost every single time I drive by, there is someone pulled off on the side taking a picture or a selfie with the Dallas house from the show in the background. I mean, when someone from England says this is Dallas, that is still what's in my mind. And my point here is that is still readily available in Dallas. Now that used to be a huge ranch. It has become a much smaller ranch. They've sold off some of the land in the surrounding areas. I've got friends that live on some of that land on actually 2-acre homes. So the point I want to make in response to your question is of how many of those are there? Over 100,000. There are tens of thousands, depending on where you draw your boundary line. If you draw your boundary line at, Royce City and Weatherford, there are hundreds of thousands of homes that we would call homes on land or big backyard properties or acreage properties that are 1 acre to say 10 acres, right? They're bigger than a normal neighborhood lot, but they're not farm and ranch. They are what we call homes on land. There are hundreds of thousands of those. Now, the areas where we tend to specialize in helping people buy and sell and sometimes, just enjoy them more, those are usually in and around and on the edges of Dallas and Fort Worth, Frisco to the north, Grand Prairie-ish to the south, the areas that are still part of and connected to the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And there are acreage properties on the interior, in the city of Dallas, in the city of Richardson, in the city of Plano, in the city of Fort Worth, in Benbrook. There are more in Wiley, Saxe, Murphy, Parker, Lucas, McKinney, Frisco, Prosper, Princeton, Lake Worth, Aledo, Weatherford, Granbury, Grand Prairie, Cedar Hill, these kind of on the edges of, what we would consider the Metroplex. But there are hundreds of thousands of them. And in those kind of outer ring, but interlying areas, there are tens of thousands of them. And if you are one of those people, we want to connect with you. We literally just want to know that you're one of us. You are a lover of homes on land. You are somebody that's in that community and would like to engage with us, enjoy some video content, the occasional newsletter, magazine type deal, share notes on how we enjoy those types of properties. And of course, if you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing in those, we'd love to chat with you about that as well. Go to toddtremonteteam.com. Shortest answer to your question, hundreds of thousands.
Okay, so another question to do with homes on land, and the answer cannot be swimming pool, so you're not allowed to give me that as an answer. What do you consider, what do your family consider, or what do you hear from others that have homes on land or just a bigger backyard? What are some of the really fun aspects that you get to enjoy during these summer months? Okay. Even though it's blazing hot outside, what is it that you still get to enjoy?
I can't say swimming pool, so I will say pond.
Do you swim in it?
We do.
Nope.
I do. Yeah, I'm not scared of a pond.
You do not swim in your pond.
I have swum in my pond multiple times, and my kids often do cannonballs off the dock.
How deep is it?
10 feet.
Why would you swim in a pond when you have a pool?
Well, you just said gross. I can't say pool.
It doesn't mean you can't use it.
We do use it. We also use the pond. The popular answer to your question right now is pickleball court. It is all anyone wants to talk about. And because ours is fairly new, we've had a concrete slab basketball kind of thing for a while, but goodgaragefloors.com, shout out, came out and turned it into something incredible. I was embarrassed about it before because it had some cracks, and we get a bunch of rain, then we get a bunch of drought. So it had cracked and stuff. They came out, sealed it, coated it. Goodgaragefloors.com is amazing. And now it's this really fun pickleball lines and boundary lines, and we just have an Amazon net that you can buy. Anyway, all that to say, when our friends come over, we play pickleball until we have sweat our faces off, and then we get in the pool. But I like trees. Y'all know that. We're not going to spend the whole show talking about how much I love trees. But I love trees, and really, if I'm being honest, I love shade. Okay? So in the summer, when you're looking for shade, I like the beauty of trees. I like the maturity of trees and all that. And there's something about in the summer being out when it's blazing hot, but you're not miserable because you're in the shade and there's a little bit of breeze. So those are some of my favorite things in the backyard. If you're asking overall, what do people love about acreage properties in the summertime? It's going to be swimming pools. It's going to be the ability to get out there and run around. Some of my other favorites that I've been talking to other homes on land owners about lately is, hey, what are you growing right now? What's fruiting? What's maturing? My kids have been plucking huge blackberries off the vines this summer. And the longer they're on the vine later into the summer with more heat, the sweeter they get. Raspberries, strawberries. We've got pears everywhere. Man, we have had tons of plums this year. We've got some apples that are not quite ready yet. We had some of the best peaches we've ever had. We didn't get quite as many this year, but we got some delicious ones.
If you happen to have any extra pears or blackberries, would just like to raise my hand and say I'll take a few?
I'll bring you pears.
Perfect.
I will not have extra blackberries, but I have so many pears I've had to thin them out. Perfect. 8 times this year.
Is the pond dirty?
Yes.
Listen, both of you.
It's full of ducks.
Okay, listen. I'm muting you, not because I'm upset with you, but because I need to get this whole thought out. There is a difference in dirty and has dirt in it. Okay? I would go so far to you who recently said you don't like artificial things in your food. I would say dirt is not dirty, right? Dirt is broken down wood and stone and things like that. Now, it can be dirty if it's got doggy doo in it and things like that. My pond is a clay bottom pond. So therefore, yes, it's dirty in that regard. It's not a chlorinated pool. But no, it's aerated water that's cycled as often as possible that has very little gross stuff in it. But it's a pond, and we're not afraid to swim in it. I'm born and raised Texan and proud of it. Now, I will unmute you if you behave yourselves. But if you say something stupid like being outside is gross, then you're going to get muted again. Because this is the great state of Texas. This is Dallas-Fort Worth, and we're talking about the glory of homes on land with big backyards.
It's too hot to be outside.
We love it.
He didn't take 2 seconds to abuse his microphone privileges. Ladies and gentlemen,
I don't know how he lives.
this is what I'm dealing with day in and day out.
I know.
Now, listen, I'm going to unmute you. This proves a point, though. Homes on land is not for everybody. That's fine. Our team helps people buy and sell houses all over the place. But where the areas we really love to work and specialize in are the most desirable neighborhood homes in DFW. Shout out. Ian's very proud of his neighborhood. He's an awesome neighborhood. He's got a very cool yard.
Timberbrook. Whoop, whoop.
Awesome community.
What?
Their neighborhood
What's
is
the name?
super connected.
I'm
and
not
all
telling
that
people
kind
where
of
I live.
Oh my God.
He already did, and I was surprised that he did, but
I
he's
will
not going to do
say
it
my
again.
address.
Don't. I'll
Do
mute
it.
you. I will
Do it.
protect you and your family. Now, listen, it's not for everybody. The two things our team loves to do are the most desirable neighborhoods in DFW. And that doesn't always mean like only the high end, although we do a lot of that. But these are neighborhoods that people love to live in, that they're trying to get into, things like that. And the other thing that we really do a lot of and specialize in and love to do is homes on land. Two different groups of people, two different types of property. Ian is the most desirable neighborhood guy. Courtney, I think, is the most desirable neighborhood girl. Although she sort of likes all the things. She celebrates she can get excited about just about anything. I and several others on the team
love life.
Me too, are homes on land people. I love the pond, the pool, the pickleball court, the orchard, the garden, that my kids have a play set, and that we have a greenhouse, and then we have room for wiffle ball home run derbies and all that stuff. It's totally great if you don't. But if you know a friend or a family member that does, connect us with them. This is like a huge part of our world. We're constantly gathering resources and vendors and shooting videos and saying, hey, here's a cool way to enjoy that. Here's a way to prep that for summer. Here's how to think about laying out and designing and continuing to build your dream backyard and all that jazz. If you don't care about that, that's fine. If you do, you're my kind of people. Let's connect. But we have your kind of people on the team too. If you're more of a, hey, I care more about the house than the yard. I care more about being around a ton of people than having my space. That's great. We do most desirable neighborhoods and homes on land. ToddTremontiTeam.com.
DP Lambert, Goosehead Insurance. We actually got to talk to DP last week. If you didn't listen to the show, didn't hear it, didn't catch it, go and go see the podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, you know, all the places. Listen to the show. DP actually gave some really good information on what to expect with the insurance market and some of the info that we've been seeing over the last year or two and what he thinks is going to happen moving forward. Reach out to DP, dp.lambert, Lambert, at dp.lambert@goosehead.com, 214-614-8595. ToddTremontiTeam.com is where you're going to go, and you can click the radio tab to find all our recommended pros and vendors. You can also get a summer fun guide there by just clicking that banner at the very top. We've only got like 30 of them left, maybe 25.
It's pretty much too late. At this point, you should do it quietly. Don't tell anyone that you didn't do it sooner, but you can still do it.
Also go there, click the home valuation tab, and in less than 1 minute, you can find out what your home is worth. You can get a cash offer if you're thinking about getting a cash offer. It's going to give you a ton of information about your equity, all sorts of stuff. Home valuation tab over at ToddTremontiTeam.com. All right, here's a question for you. You mentioned pickleball when we were talking about things that you love to do at your property with your friends. You talked about pickleball tournaments, things like that. Mm-hmm. Give us more info. It's the fastest growing sport in America still. Mm-hmm. Give us all the information you can about pickleball. Where can you play? How can you play? Is it something that you have to have a court for? Is it something you can do other places?
I'll tell you what. I remember how weird it was when I came to the realization that people were searching proximity from a Whole Foods to buy houses. Okay? This was years ago when Whole Foods really, really took off in Texas and started to expand. And people were literally saying, I want to live within a mile or two of a Whole Foods. I've decided where I want to grocery shop before I've decided where I want to live. That is now happening with pickleball courts. And I'm not exaggerating. We are hearing buyers say this. Is there a pickleball court nearby? It's become an identifying factor in people's lives. I haven't seen a sport take off like this. Now, that's because the sports that I love have been around for a long time probably. But it's a big deal. So we're seeing lots of neighborhoods. If you live in an HOA or a neighborhood with like a swimming pool, tennis court, neighborhood center type thing, we're seeing those tennis courts being condensed. Some of them have overlapping pickleball lines so you can do both. And many of them that used to have 4 or 8 tennis courts have just shrunk it, and now they have 2 or 4 tennis courts and more pickleball courts. So we are seeing them at rec centers. We're seeing some of the high schools that have big tennis complexes add pickleball. We're seeing them being built in city parks, and we're seeing them in more and more backyards. It's a lot smaller than a tennis court or a basketball court. Therefore, we're seeing people play them on their driveways, where they're just going on Amazon and getting a net for like $250 and a paddle and ball kit for like $50, and for a reasonable price, throwing a little setup in the driveway or in the backyard if you have a little pad or whatever. I've seen kids playing in the street. Probably don't recommend that from a safety perspective, but it's one of those things that doesn't require as much space, doesn't require a tremendous amount of financial investment, and is a ton of fun. I know people that have their own paddle and balls and are just like, have paddle, will play. Who knows of a court, who wants to play? We've seen churches putting them inside their gymnasiums. We've seen people painting them in their parking lots. DFW is going nuts about pickleball. And I think part of it is there's actually some investment in leagues and things. I know Mark Cuban's made some investments and things like that, but there's my rapid fire answer to kind of where and how.
We have a badminton net, and we strap the badminton net to the basketball goal that's in the driveway, and then the other side to a tree, which is across the other side of the driveway.
Well done, sir.
Make a little makeshift pickleball thing, and the kids get to play. It's
yeah,
awesome.
You don't have to play with all the lines and all the rules. It's kind of mini. It's like ping pong /
We just make our
tennis.
own one, put some chalk on the ground, and kids have fun.
Yeah. We don't get overly worked up about the rules either, but we know some people that do, if you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean.
Careful about those people.
I don't know why we're talking about this.
Anytime you can hone on something, you just know.
All right, last minute. Here we go. I want to talk about grass. People get splotches of dirt this time of year because it's getting burnt by the sun.
Yep.
But we like being outside. Let me make that clear. What can people do about that? Like, is that something they can fix with sod or with seed? Or they have to wait for the fall?
Yeah, I actually got a very specific question about this from Robert on our team this time last year, and then just this week got a friend from church ask this question. It's a multifaceted answer. So clearly, if you just have like one weird dead spot in your yard and you have St. Augustine grass, you can go buy St. Augustine sod and plug it in. If you have Bermuda grass, you can buy Bermuda sod. The real tough decisions are when you don't really want to spend a lot of money, or maybe you're about to sell it, or it's in like a shaded area that it just never grows. It's not like a weird thing. It's like, no, that never grows. Your options are seeding or sodding what's already there. Or what a lot of people do, like it or not saying it's the best way, but it's an option, is to trim your trees up a little bit, let a little bit more sun in there, and just water it. Just very carefully water whatever's there and let the junk grass or the weeds grow in and grow something thicker and greener to cover that spot up. One other option, just for the sake of time, is you can get on Google or Amazon and search grass varieties that will grow in our area. There's some bluegrasses, there's some buffalo grasses that can grow in certain areas and that will fill those spots a little bit faster. They're likely to get overtaken by what else is there. And what you have to be really careful is that you don't seed or plant something that will overtake other stuff. The cheap, easy, slow version is water the weeds. Water what else is already there and let it grow in and cover it. But it's going to need some sunlight, so you might have to trim those trees up. But that's a popular question this time of year. It's a popular question for people that are thinking about selling. Is it worth a big project or sodding, and then everything else looks different? And there's different questions for different people. So when you have questions about your real estate or about your house, even if you're not ready to buy or sell, just call our team, 214-310-0008, or go online to
TheTremoneyTeam.com.
And if you're thinking about buying or selling a home this summer before back to school, you've got minutes left to get this right. Give us a call right now, 214-310-0008, or
TheTremoneyTeam.com.
Welcome back, party people. Welcome back. Thanks for hanging with us through the break. We're going to make it worth your while. Okay, we got all sorts of DFW real estating to do. But here's the skinny, folks. Let's just talk, you and me. Even when we are not on the air, you can call or text 214-310-0008. And you could say things like, I'm thinking about selling my house. I'm not exactly sure what I need to do first or what's worth spending any money on. Can you help me with that? And we can say, absolutely. Let's have a conversation about timing and condition and return on investment and all the things. You could say, hey, I'd like to buy, but this feels like a really dumb time to do that. People keep telling me it's a bad time for rates. And we could say, well, let's break down your unique situation and the finances and the timing and your family needs and all those things. And then we'll help you come to the best conclusion for you and your family. You might even say, we've been really wanting to buy a lake house, or we've been wanting to have a rental home. How do we do that? When's the best time? What's the best, smartest place to do that? And we could help you with all those things. Anytime, all week long, 214-310-0008. Let's get into it.
Okay, and this first segment is always brought to you by Patrick Glaros, his entire team over at Cardinal Financial. PatrickGlaros.com is where you can go and start an application directly on his website, GLAROS, PatrickGlaros.com. If you want to give him a call, you can. 972-728-3420, NMLS number 308804. ToddTremontiTeam.com is where you're going to go. You can click on that radio tab and you can find all of the recommended pros and vendors that we talk about on the show right there. All right, I want to give a big shout out.
Shout out.
Springtown, Texas.
Springtown's legit.
Full disclosure, I didn't know where Springtown was. Well, I looked
you
it up
do.
on a map.
No, it's northwest of Fort Worth. You knew.
Well, I knew now.
You
I
knew
looked
that.
it up on a map. I am not too proud to say I don't know where some cities are, but I'm not from America, folks. So I can always use that as an excuse.
To play it both ways.
I've also been out of the office recently, but I hear a little birdie was telling me that there was some chatter going on about Springtown, Texas.
A little Roberty. See what I did there?
What? No, just chatter.
Yeah.
So I'm curious.
He's saying Robert was talking about it.
No, he gets
A
it.
Roberty.
No, I didn't get it.
Oh, you didn't get it?
No.
He didn't get it.
Sad. It was
Okay.
pretty decent.
So Robert was talking about it.
Pretty
Terrible.
decent. It was not terrible.
Well, I didn't know.
All right.
Anyway, tell me about it, and why am I hearing that people was talking about it?
Well, as you know, Ian, I'm fairly confident that you do know that one of our primary areas of specialization is homes on land. Homes
that I did know.
Homes with acreage properties. And Springtown happens to be an area in the DFW Metroplex where more than their fair share of acreage properties have been selling. There's some development going on out there. There's some sort of revitalization and growing up going on out there. Springtown, Texas, northwest of DFW. Reasonable drive to Fort Worth. Not too terribly bad of a drive to, say like Grapevine, North Central Metroplex type areas. And one that we've had a little bit of inquiry about. We've seen some leads coming through on, and we've seen a lot of acreage property changing hands out there. So if you're thinking about buying or selling a home with acreage, with a big lot, let us know. Doesn't have to be Springtown, but that's kind of a cool spot where we're seeing a lot of that activity happen. A lot like Aledo.
Remind me
not
in
as big.
relation to Dallas where Springtown is.
Northwest. So if you're in Fort Worth,
Okay.
That's
But
what I
like-
should say. If I don't know where somewhere is, just remind me that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Courtney. I'll use that next
tell
time.
me again, because we were just.
I couldn't recall what
Yeah.
you said.
So you got Fort Worth, think Lake Worth,
Yeah, I'm
northwest,
going north.
and
That's
then
to the left of Dallas on a map.
That's correct.
also known as
West.
West. Also known as West.
Well, I wasn't sure if you knew east and west. So I just did left.
so glad you.
My directions is my spiritual gift.
Okay, that's not a spiritual gift, but I appreciate
Well, it's a
that.
weird one,
Appreciate
but
that you
okay.
have that.
I-
Here's the deal: Springtown's cool, but it's really just an illustration of so many places that, if you're from the area, you know Springtown, but if you're not, you may not. There's a bunch of really cool communities. Josephine's one that comes to mind. Nevada.
You said cool a few times, and just a quick look at weather shows it's actually 3 degrees
so-
cooler than it is here in
He's so,
Richardson.
so fixated
You're
on
right.
the heat right now.
It is cool.
He's very sensitive.
3 degrees.
He's very. Ian. Some of us get a tan. Ian sort of gets rotisseried. It's like he's cooking.
That is so dead on.
It is. I mean, you got me to a T.
And we love you. We love him, folks. No matter what, he's our Ian. But Springtown's great. But there are lots of really cool communities in and around DFW that you may not have paid much attention to before that are worthy of your consideration, especially if you're thinking about a home with a little bit of property. We love them. We specialize in them. We're telling people about Farmersville and Princeton and Springtown and Lake Worth. And
you might say
lots
it's
of
where
places in
country
between.
meets living.
you could say that. And my guess is the way you said it, their website says that. It's possible.
Also, you could say it's where ideas begin that set trends for other small cities.
Oh,
Listen,
interesting.
if you are the person in Springtown that writes for the Chamber of Commerce or the City of Springtown website, I'm nearly certain that Ian is celebrating your work right now. Please let us know. We would love to have you on DFW Real Estate Weekly with Todd Tremonti.
If you're interested in finding a city that has a 33-acre park with amenities such as soccer and baseball fields, sand volleyball courts, and disc golf.
Do they have pickleball?
Of course they do.
Doesn't say so.
They have a tennis
on
court,
the
they have
things I'm not
pickleball.
My
reading.
guess is they have it, but they have not updated the website.
And
You'd
everybody
like to
has their
become,
own.
Population number 1,522.
Now, careful. Springtown is significantly more than that, but that's inside the city limits.
Just
but much
reading on a website.
Much like you might say Farmersville is a town that doesn't have a ton of population. People within 30 miles of Farmersville, north, east, and south at least, maybe not so much west, would say, yeah, that's where I live, Farmersville. But the point of bringing any of this up is that there are lots of really interesting, diverse, and unique and cool communities all in and around DFW that have their own personalities and still have relatively affordable homes with land. Some areas where you can get some really cool historic style homes on 3, 4, 5 acres, or you can get a brand new house on 1 or 2 acres. You can be in a community where all the homes are on 1 or 2 or 3 acres, or you can carve a little piece of the countryside out and still be in DFW within an hour or so.
You can watch a live stream of the city council.
Who wouldn't want to do that?
Maybe even report a streetlight issue.
I think we can do that in any city.
Most
We're really
all right, folks. If
selling
you are thinking about buying or selling a home with some acreage, a home on some land, not a farm and a ranch necessarily, but a big lot, reach out to us. That's what we do. We love to help people find the most desirable neighborhood homes and homes on land in DFW. ToddTremontiTeam.com. And if I do say so myself, there's nobody better at doing it than our team. We've got some of the most incredible human beings on earth on our team helping people buy and sell homes, specializing with buyers or sellers here at the Todd Tremonti Home Selling Team and the Todd Tremonti Homes on Land team. ToddTremontiTeam.com or call or text 214-310-0008. We still guarantee to sell them over the average price and under the average time.
If you live in another city and you'd like me to read your website, just let me know. Happy to do so.
Coming soon, Ian's new Read Your Website cast on 0 platforms.
Feels like a hit.
Speaking of platforms, if you haven't seen the YouTube channel or the podcast in a while, you are in fact doing it wrong. Go to ToddTremontiTeam.com, click on that radio tab, or just check out podcast wherever you check out podcasts. DFW Real Estate Weekly with Todd Tremonti. Any questions? Anything we want to discuss?
You know, I'm going to remind you that this past week was indeed Independence Day, July 4th. Fireworks night.
Mm-hmm.
Stump Todd.
Okay. Weird.
Fireworks.
Oh, fireworks.
fireworks.
I do enjoy some fireworks.
Do you?
I don't know the legality of what I like to keep at the house, so I'm just going to not tell the whole story. But, man, I like to keep... Back when I was a kid, M60s were the things. Now they're like M1000s. And they're the ones that sound like an absolute hand grenade just went off, but they're legal because you can buy them at a fireworks stand. Again, not exactly entirely sure when you should and shouldn't do that. But fireworks bring to mind that you should allow your kids to do dangerous things. Now, this is just my personal parenting policy. I don't mean play in traffic and hold on to fireworks, dangerous things. I mean, our kids need to understand that life is sometimes dangerous, and an absolute overprotection, which I would probably lean towards more often than not, is harmful to them. They need to understand that the world is dangerous and that sometimes we have to and need to do things that are a little bit scary that could potentially lead to dangerous things. Again, I am not saying let your kids do things that are likely to harm them. What I'm saying is fireworks are one of those things that some people would be like, why would you ever do fireworks? And we would say they're fun, they're exciting. It's one of those things that's kind of a little bit on the edge and risky and fun, and you can still do it safely if you're careful. I'm saying life is that way. And we ought to make sure that our kids know that life can be dangerous and there is joy in that and excitement in that and sometimes great reward in risking a bit to learn something, to do something, to have a new experience. So fireworks, danger, life.
So what I'm hearing you say is life is not like a box of chocolates. Life is like a firework.
Well, in the event that the box of chocolates is to communicate that you never know what you're going to get, fireworks are often that way too. I have another story about one time when a mortar fell down and shot near my entire family, and I had to punt it, and that was more of a dangerous fireworks scenario.
I may or may not have been on a high school trip in France.
Let's
on a
just be
skiing
clear,
trip,
may not is in fact an option here. Back to you.
and we may or may not have been setting off fireworks from our chalet, and they may or may not have gone into some great places.
When he says chalet,
I've never stayed in a chalet.
when he says chalet, what are you envisioning real quick, Courtney?
I mean, a beautiful countryside French home.
26,000 square foot
Yes.
French chateau.
Yes.
Snow on the ground.
No, there's no snow.
But inside's completely warm. There are warm, steamy beverages. There's
I'm
a
more
butler.
on the summer
There's
side.
a butler involved. Well, chalet to me
we
is
had everything right
elevated.
except the butler,
Okay.
but everything else is spot on. Snow on the ground, snow on the
Now,
roof.
what is
It's
chalet?
a high school trip
Chalet is like you think snow, elevation. Yeah, okay.
in the mountains.
I'm not judging you. I'm
I
just
guess
saying.
I was more chateau.
That's a chateau, yeah.
Oh.
Oui, a chateau. Oui, chalet.
Okay, back to the real estate part of
We're
DFW.
talking
Can I
about
say one
homes.
last thing on fireworks?
If you could.
You're not wrong.
If
You're
you
not wrong.
wish.
It was a house. We're fine. We're
One-
legal.
One last thing on fireworks.
Yeah.
A little bit overrated.
We haven't done that in so long.
Wait a second.
That's
You think they're overrated?
Here's the deal. The ending of the fireworks, excellent. I can do without the initial 15 minutes.
You don't
of
like the
fireworks,
journey
where it's
to
just
the finale?
One goes off. One goes off. Another
Courtney,
one goes
do we
off.
have an entitlement?
I'm all in on
We have an
like,
entitled
like
drop?
just give me
you
the
want
finale.
a finale the whole time.
Give me the finale. That's all I need.
Well, it's such a schlep out to the land that you lay on.
Just give me the finale.
What is wrong with people?
I love a fireworks show.
Your lives are so good that when you have the time and freedom and health and ability to go and watch
I love
a
them.
wonder of pyrotechnics where powder and paper can create flying shapes and images,
It's pretty wild.
you're annoyed that you have to wait through the steady flow of explosions,
Yep.
creating delight, to get to the rapid fire
Yeah.
crescendo.
Yes.
That lines up for
And
our
you're
Ian.
frustrated. No, you're in on this. Because
No.
you're frustrated that you have to schlep the chairs and blankets out to the field where you get to witness
I'm
this
saying
glory.
I want a journey to the finale
okay.
because of the schlep.
I'm sorry.
Let me also say one other thing and then we'll move on.
I'm willing to say when I'm wrong. I apologize.
Sparklers, underrated. And also, those little hand pop things that you throw on the ground.
A popper.
Underrated.
Those are the best.
Yep. I think they're underrated. though.
I
Yeah,
disagree.
yeah. No, I like a Roman candle too. All right, let me say this though.
Lord.
I have only bought fireworks once since 1999. Maybe
I'm shocked by this.
maybe
The
twice.
butler gets them.
Maybe twice. The
Yeah,
butler.
that's,
Maybe twice.
that tracks.
In my
In
chalet.
the chalet.
my chateau.
Here's what I want to say.
I'm not shooting off fireworks in the winter.
Back to
Chateau.
New Year's Eve. Back to Ian's
that's
point
fair.
about the heat.
Guy Fawkes night, November 5th.
Back to Ian's point about the heat.
Mm-hmm.
In high school, well, the summer between high school and college, I ran a fireworks stand in Houston
Never knew.
in the summer,
Okay.
and I got the flu about 5 days into a 14-day commitment where you are supposed to not leave ever. You're supposed to sleep in this plywood box in a parking lot
Yeah.
on concrete in Houston in the summer.
Sounds
Was
hot.
it one of those big like shed things that just has fireworks written across
Yeah.
it?
It literally made of plywood. Yeah. Like a just
it.
absolute,
So you did-
everything smells like gunpowder. It's
You did the whole thing with the flu?
not an enjoyable experience. Yeah. Listen, now I celebrate hard work. If you've never had a job like that, you can't appreciate the gift of a good career and job and the
Did they
ability.
pay well?
Well, we don't have time for the story. I'm going to say no.
Why?
We got hosed by the guy running them all and
Yeah.
all that stuff. But
Hey, this is a real estate show, folks.
it's
and,
July 4th.
I know, but I think people want to be educated as
Let's go.
including you,
let's
Courtney.
do some
In a
real,
segment
real
that we like
estate
to call Courtney Learns Real Estate. Courtney, hey,
Hey, Ian.
got a question for you.
That's Courtney's sound.
Quick
Oh, princess.
question. I don't know the answer to this, so I'd love your expertise and guidance.
I'll probably know it.
Why is my home's assessed value different from the market value?
Okay.
Hold on. Can I add one word? Oh, real quick. Off mic.
That's fine.
Okay. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay. Why is your tax appraisal, your tax assessment,
Yeah.
different than the resale value?
Okay. Because we're trying to get the most money possible, and that amount is going to be different than like what the state says it's worth.
Words and words.
I'm trying to decipher.
I don't know why they're different.
I don't know what she said.
I'm selling something
I think
versus
she
Something
said,
about
I think
money.
she said because I want more money for it, it's different than what the state says.
Yeah.
Why is it different?
Okay, you ready? As concisely as I can possibly say,
Please always.
when the Todd Tremonti home selling team or a real estate broker or agent values your home for sale, it's done on what's called a resale valuation, right? It's based on what are other homes selling for. Now, when we do it, we include a tremendous amount of additional data. But basically it's saying, what would the bank value your home for based on what other similar assets, houses, land amount, size, quality, and all that, based on what those of other ones have sold for, what should yours sell for?
I thought you hated comps.
I do. Comparison pricing is the industry standard, though. So we still do some of that. Here at the Todd Tremonti Home Selling Team, we also do a bunch of analysis of development and rates and seasonality and market conditions and momentum and all these other things. But at its core, when your home goes to sell, a lot of that valuation has to do with what have buyers been willing to pay for homes like this recently in the past in similar market conditions. The tax assessor sometimes has access to some of that, but oftentimes they're like, look, other homes in the area are being taxed at this price, and we have just rated your property condition at fair or poor or good or excellent, and we've never been in your house. So if you go to sell your house and an appraiser comes in, they're coming inside. They're going to look at the condition. The tax assessor doesn't do that. Someone might drive by the front and go, good condition, fair condition, poor condition, bad condition, good condition, fair, good, fair, poor, good, for. They don't know if you put in new windows. They don't know if you have granite in the kitchen or if it's green, olive green Formica from 1982. So they're just completely different valuation styles for completely different purposes. There's also a difference in your tax valuation and necessarily what you pay each year because of exemptions and caps and things. So the simplest answer is totally different type of valuation for totally different purposes. You could go a little farther to say the tax evaluation is a lot less specific of a process, where a resale valuation should be a very, very specific process.
Every time we talk, I'm reminded why you want an expert in your corner, because the brain space on this is just too much.
Space?
It takes a lot to know all this stuff. And if I were to try to rephrase what you just said, it would be completely insane to think.
I feel like a child.
Think that you should have all this knowledge. You shouldn't feel stupid. If you're not a real estate agent full time, you're not going to know these things. And the sad reality is there are many real estate agents that do not know these things.
You know what, Court? That's why we have this segment, so you can learn real estate.
I've owned 3 homes.
That alone's worth celebrating.
I am in the middle of my life, and this is like.
So you're giving yourself to 84.
I think you can go deeper. I think you can make it past.
You think
that.
I can go past
Aim
that?
for the 90s at
Listen,
least.
you're eating all that European food without
That's
all those
hard.
American.
90? I don't know. I'm shooting for 85.
All right. Good luck.
Anything else we wanted to cover on this put together?
I have something that I'd like to cover.
How
I want to
old
talk
do you
to
want-
anybody that either has a license in real estate, that practices real estate,
Preach.
that would like to join a team that can offer incredible training, if I say so myself, opportunity out the wazoo, and really, really, really just a good, fun team atmosphere where we all succeed together and we work really hard and we play and we have fun and it's awesome. Especially if you live out in Fort Worth. We want to talk to you. We want two. I want 2 of you. That's all I want is only 2 of you. Okay? Now, if you happen to get a third one, we might say that's okay.
We'd have that conversation.
We want 2. 1 in Richardson as well. But 2 in Fort Worth.
Yep.
Reach out to us. Contact us. Give us a call. Jump on the website. We want to talk. See if it would be a good opportunity, a good fit for you as an individual and us as a team. But that's what we have. We have opportunity to hire 2 incredible people right now, full-time. We don't do part-time. We do full-time.
Thousands of leads.
thousands.
Full-time
of leads.
training.
You know what? I'm going to go one up on thousands. I'm going to go tens of thousands.
Tens of thousands of leads. Full-time training. A industry-leading training system that other agents from all over the United States and Canada literally fly here and pay to learn how to do real estate this way.
Multiple times a year.
You get invited into that as a team member in our Fort Worth office and a absolute full-time, all-the-time member of our whole team between Richardson and Fort Worth. Would love to sit down, have a cup of coffee, jump on a Zoom, get to know each other. If you have your license and maybe haven't had it for more than a year, or are really considering getting a real estate license, we can tell you why we think this is a great time to get into the business, even though most other folks in the industry are saying it's a bad time. Why would we think differently about that? Let's talk about it very, very soon. Go to toddtremonteteam.com. You can find the Join the Team page, or you can just text or email or call or fill out any form. We'd love to have that conversation with you very soon.
If you don't like coffee, I've got some lovely Yorkshire tea. You can have a cup of tea.
Mm-hmm.
We've got sodas, snacks.
We even have
We
the
got 'em.
LaCroix, or often referred to in our office as La Croix.
I've never
I'm
said
going to
that.
say the other word that I use for it.
Don't.
I won't. Because if you would like to be a sponsor, LaCroix,
La Croix.
please reach out to us. Happy to talk to you
This,
about that.
this
We
folks,
could go for some drink sponsors around
listen, we could do Topo Chico Lime, and I'm telling you, boy, could I carry one with me quite. It's the one thing in
It's
my life
always
that
in
I'm
your
like,
hand.
this is a little schmucky, but I'm doing it anyway. Cause
Regular Topo Chico, a little Mio orange in it. Tastes just like Fanta.
here. What is a Mio?
it's the syrupy,
water,
squirty flavor
stuff.
thing. This has been one of the most put together DFW Real Estate Weekly episodes that we have ever done. And
Available
we've
in
been doing
most of
this
your
for the
supermarkets.
better part of a decade. Hey, folks, if you don't catch the show live ever, you owe it to yourself to find the podcast. DFW Real Estate Weekly with Todd Tremonti. One of the longest names of a podcast in the history of podcasts, so that you can find it easily on any platform. DFW Real Estate Weekly with Todd Tremonti. You can also find the YouTube channel and all of these things at toddtremonteteam.com. If you're thinking about buying or selling this summer, we need to be talking right now. 214-310-0008. And if you haven't been to the website lately, go play around a little bit. There's some scorecards. You can find any house on the MLS by any agent. You can get a cash offer for your house. You can find out what your equity is, do all that in about 1 minute. And you can also use some really helpful market report type data things and see what's happening in your area. toddtremonteteam.com. Enjoy your weekend, folks. We look forward to seeing you right back here, same time, same place next weekend, 3 o'clock on WBAP.